and the homeowner is standing there looking at this patch of green render on their £500,000 house, and they think, well, just blast it off with the pressure washer, right? But here's the thing. It's not dirt. It's a living, breathing, biological organism. It's algae, it's lichen, it's moss. And if you go at it with 2000 psi, you are basically just giving it a haircut. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mark Cave, and today we're talking about why we need to stop thinking like blasters and start thinking like surface doctors. You see, a lot of guys starting out, they think soft washing is just, they think it's pressure washing with the dial turned down. Like you just throttle back the machine and call it a day. But it's not. It's a completely different science. We are talking about operating at under 80 psi. 80. That's practically domestic garden hose pressure. Now, why 80 psi? Because we're not using mechanical force to rip the organic growth off the wall. When you use a high-pressure jet on something like K-Rend or monocouche stucco, what you're actually doing is shearing off the top layer of the algae. But the root structure, those tiny micro-roots, they stay deeply embedded inside the porous substrate. And guess what? Those micro-roots now have a physical anchor and a nice, freshly gouged-out porous pocket to grow back even faster. It actually accelerates the regrowth. So how does true soft washing actually solve this? It's physics versus chemistry. Instead of physical force, we apply a targeted biodegradable chemical solution that dissolves the biological bond holding that stain to the wall. It sanitizes the surface. It kills the spores at the absolute root, so they can't just bounce back a few weeks later. Think of it like this. If you've got weeds in your garden, you don't just weed whack the tops off and expect them to never come back, do you? No, you have to treat the root. It's the exact same principle for your house walls and roofs. But I see so many contractors who still have that blaster mindset. They want to turn up, blast everything in sight, grab the cash and go. But modern building materials simply won't stand for it. You try blasting aged brick or historical stone with high pressure, and you will literally erode the structural face of the material. You'll ruin the property. We have to transition to being clinical surface specialists. We identify the surface, we understand the biological contaminant, and we apply the precise chemistry to cure it. But that brings us to the elephant in the room, the backyard chemists. Look, we've all seen it, or at least anyone who's been in the trade for more than 5 minutes has. The shed scientist era. Guys buying raw agricultural bleach from a dairy farm, throwing it into an IBC tank in the back of a transit van, and then dumping some cheap supermarket washing up liquid in there to make it stick. It is incredibly high risk. First of all, supermarket dish soap is not chemically stable when you mix it with high-strength sodium hypochlorite. It can break down, it gases off, and honestly, you have no control over the dilution. You're literally guessing. That's why the industry has had to evolve. Today, we use dedicated, chemically stable surfactants like Clever Wash, which is specifically designed to handle sodium hypochlorite without breaking down, and biocides like Softwash Pro 50 to maintain that clean. It's about professional, stable chemistry. And here is the real kicker that a lot of guys don't realize until it's too late. Insurance. If you are mixing random chemicals in your backyard and something goes wrong, say you ruin a customer's landscaped garden or you discolor a premium cladding, and you can't produce a proper COSH assessment, site-specific RAMs, or clear SDS documentation for your runoff, your insurer is going to walk away. They will default, and you will be left entirely exposed, facing thousands of pounds in damages out of your own pocket. It doesn't have to be that way, though. The industry has moved on, and the path to becoming a true professional is right there. That's why we set up the Softwash UK CPD Certified Softwash Training course. It's about giving you the actual, recognised credentials to prove to commercial clients and high-end homeowners that you know exactly what you're doing. You become an approved Softwash applicator, you get listed on the directory, and suddenly, you aren't competing with the cheap blasters anymore. You escape that brutal race to the bottom, where everyone is just cutting their prices to get the job. When you have the standards, the compliance, and the science on your side, you can charge what you're actually worth. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Think about it. Biology over brute force every single time. All right, speak to you soon. Take care, guys.